In this lesson, we're going to learn how to calculate average rate of change. This is the fourth video in a four-part series on the subject, and today we're going to focus on the equation of a function. So how do we use the equation of a function to calculate average rate of change? Well, we know that to find average rate of change, we first need to find 2 points. Then we use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 in order to calculate the average rate of change. Suppose we have the function f of x equals x squared minus 7x plus 5, and we want to find the average rate of change over the given interval, in this case when x goes from -2 to 6. We know that that interval is the key to finding the 2 points that we need. Those are x values or inputs, so we put them in the x position of the ordered pairs. Now we have a couple of options. Option 1 is perhaps the easiest of the options. You could put that function in your graphing calculator and pull up a table of values to get the corresponding output, or y value, for the ordered pairs. In the table, when x is -2, y is 23, and when x is 6, y is -1. That would give you your 2 points right away, and you're ready to use the formula. The other option would be to use a more traditional and manual method. In other words, evaluate the function. If the input is -2, we substitute -2 into the function and determine the output. The output is 23 when the input is -2, giving us the point -2, 23. Notice that matches the output shown in the input and output table from the graphing calculator. To get the second output when the input is 6, once again I would input 6 into the function and evaluate. I'd get the output of -1, giving me the point 6, -1. Once again, notice that in the input and output table from the graphing calculator, I see the value -1 with the input of 6, 1. I now label my points x1, y1 and x2, y2. I'm ready to use the formula. Average rate of change equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and we now substitute the values into the formula. y2 minus y1 is -1 minus 23. x2 minus x1 is 6 minus -2. We evaluate, and we come up with -24 over 8. We reduce the fraction, and we find that the result is -3. The average rate of change over the interval from -2 to 6 for this function is -3. Here's a function for you to try. Suppose we have the function f of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 6. We want to find the average rate of change over the given interval when x goes from -4 to +3. Can you calculate the average rate of change? Begin by finding the 2 points that you need and then using the formula. Give that a try and then come back when you're ready to compare answers. Let's compare answers. We know that this interval is the ticket to finding the 2 points that we need to calculate average rate of change. Those are inputs or x values, so -4 will be the first x value and 3 will be the second x value. Now you have a couple of options. Option 1 is to go to your graphing calculator, enter the function into the graph, and pull up the input and output table. Notice when the input is -4, the output is 2. That would be our first point. When the input is 3, the output is 9. That would be our second point. The other option would be to do a more manual and more traditional method. Evaluate the function. When the input is -4, we calculate the output to be +2, giving us the point -4, 2. Notice that matches exactly the input and output, -4, 2, that we see in the table from the graphing calculator. Now let's evaluate the function for the input 3. When we do that, we come up with the output of 9, giving us the point 3, 9. Notice once again in the input and output table from the graphing calculator, we have the point 3, 9, so we get the same result no matter which path we choose. Now we label our points x1, y1 and x2, y2, and we're ready to use the formula. We write the formula, average rate of change equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We substitute the numbers in, and we evaluate. The average rate of change for this function over the interval from -4 to 3 is +1. Let's end this video with one last exercise for you to try. If we have the function f of x equals -x squared plus 10x plus 27, can you calculate the average rate of change over the interval when x goes from 0 to 6? Please pause the video here and come back when you're ready to compare answers. Once again, we know that this interval is the ticket to finding the 2 points. Those are x values or inputs, so the x value will be 0 and 6. Now we have a choice. We can use our graphing calculator to look at the table of values to determine what the y values are, or the outputs, or we can use a more manual method. Either way, you find that when the input is 0, the output is 27, and when the input is 6, the output is 51. We label our points x1, y1, x2, y2, and then we're ready to use the formula. We write the formula, substitute the values in, and then we evaluate. Don't forget to simplify your fraction at the end. The average rate of change is 4. Now you know everything you need in order to calculate the average rate of change when you have the equation of a function. Remember, you can learn more about functions in Mr. Dorey's Algebra Handbook, available at www.doreypublications.com.